What's up, Lego builders? Welcome back to Coconut Brick Studios for episode 3 of A Man and His Bricks. This episode is a little bit overdue. I've been very busy this past month. It was supposed to come out, I think, last week or the week before, but we'll get more into that into this video, talking about what I've been up to, what's been going on. A lot of stuff happened, drop tested a Star Destroyer, hit 2,000 subscribers. You guys have probably noticed my uploading schedule has definitely increased. So there's a lot to discuss. I'm excited. I've got a lot of stuff to share with you guys. I got some great questions. Once again, I'm really excited to answer those. And I do have something for YouTubing on a budget. All in all, it should be a pretty good episode. But first, gotta roll that intro. Oh man, I have been so busy this past month. Starting in January, kind of after I got monetized, I really tried to step up my video content game. I think I talked about this last time, trying out new content and, the whole situation with the UCS Imperial Star Destroyer, drop testing that whole mistake. I've just been trying every possible way I can think of to improve and to grow my channel. And so, I tried to branch out into other areas. And, I did some stuff with the medieval blacksmith. And interestingly enough, my views actually started to drop when I strayed away from Lego Star Wars content. I did a vlog, did some blacksmith streams, did some other stuff, and I started to lose views, which was interesting to me because, I was trying to do what was cool, what was popular, what was new, and I've slowly gone back to Lego Star Wars. Like, I was still doing my Utapau updates and episodes of what I bought and stuff, but it almost felt like it wasn't the sole focus of my channel anymore. And so now I've gone back to that, and my views have just skyrocketed, which has been very interesting to me because, I always tried to brand myself as a Lego Star Wars channel because I really wanted to create a name for myself, and I felt like that would be the best opportunity to do so. It was just interesting to see the contrast between when I focus on Lego Star Wars and when I don't, because now, I'm doing Utapau updates super regularly again. I got the Utapau live streams. I did the Lego Star Wars mini mock into the Devil's Lair last week, live streamed some of those builds, gunship video, haul video with the UCS Imperial shuttle, all those videos have done really well, been really well received. So it is comforting to see the views going back up. And it was just an interesting lesson for me to learn, to realize like, okay, I know what I'm good at and I know what I really enjoy. So there's no longer any pressure for me to feel like, okay, I need to try something else. Cause I tried it, didn't necessarily work. I definitely enjoy Lego Star Wars content more. So now I'm back on home turf, back doing stuff I love. But before I move on to a different topic, I want to kind of touch on that whole situation a little bit and explain in a little bit more detail why that was such an important lesson for me to learn, because I think it's so important that we make mistakes, especially when making YouTube videos and running a channel, really just in life in general, right? I know, especially for me, I grew up thinking, mistakes were such a bad thing, and to a certain extent they are. But if you think about it, the best way to learn and the best way to improve is by making mistakes. Like, take, for example, the UCS Imperial Star Destroyer drop test. Obviously, I don't really regret it. Like, it was great content. It was a good lesson for me to learn. Definitely realized I don't enjoy doing that. I didn't like doing stuff like that, because if I had never done that and just kept doing what I was doing, I'd always have this little nagging thought like, oh, you should try a drop test, or maybe you should do a drop test. Maybe you'll get more views and stuff. And the more you make those mistakes and alleviate those little voices, the more clarity you get on what you really want to do and what you really want out of life. So that was kind of an interesting eye opener to me, to realize like, oh wow, like I don't need to be so afraid of like making a bad video or having a stream not do super well, because now then I can take that opportunity to look back and be like, okay, so why did that happen? And what can I do differently to now be better in the future? Because how would we grow if we never made mistakes, right? We'd never have anything to learn from. We would never have these bad situations to show us like how much better things could be if we were making the right decisions, if that makes sense. It's not a 100% formulated thought yet. That's just kind of something that's been stewing and swimming around my brain for the past little while. So I did touch on this briefly in the intro. I have started a new uploading schedule. It kind of unconsciously happened in the beginning of January. I think I just had this influx of content that I needed to get out. I was coming up on getting monetized. Blacksmith was coming out, got the Star Destroyer, just a bunch of things happened to where it started to where I was uploading Sunday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Saturday. Because typically, for the past 2 years, I've mostly just done Saturday, Wednesday, Sunday uploads. I would do a live stream or a video on Wednesday, live stream Saturday, and then, my main mock building series, or kind of my main video for the week on Sunday. And so with the increase in content, this bled into Tuesday, and a little bit of Thursday now. And it got to a point where I was like, you know what? I'm really growing right now. I'm getting a lot of views, a lot of traffic, a lot of watch time, a lot of subscribers. So why not capitalize on that and really make a conscious effort to upload more? So actually, from the beginning of March officially until the end of March, I'm going to be kind of doing a test run with a new content schedule. And that is uploading Sunday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday. Which, if you told me that a year ago, that's something I would be interested in doing. I would have been like, whoa, that's way too much, But I feel like my editing has improved a lot. My on-camera face has improved a lot. Just my on-camera, I guess not so much like, my actual face, but just my persona and the way I'm able to interact and talk on camera. So I'm able to do things much quicker and crank out videos much faster, which has helped ease the load a little bit of uploading so much. The reason I'm doing this is because I'm really interested to see if I can continue to sustain this amount of growth, indefinitely, maybe not indefinitely, but for an extended period of time, because I think it's really cool and I don't want to let this opportunity slip away. So really up until April, you're going to keep seeing this Sunday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday upload schedule. Then depending on how things go, that might bleed into April, May. May is going to be a little bit tougher just because we're going to be moving houses, which, on one hand, great opportunity for content, moving houses, packing up a Lego collection and all that. But on the other hand, I'm also going to need to be taking time out to pack things up, find a new place, work things out, get the whole situation organized and worked out. So we'll see what goes on in the month of May. But so far it has yielded very positive results. So if anybody out there is wondering how to step up their YouTube game, one viable suggestion from me would be to see how you can increase your content upload. See how you can get more videos out there, kind of casting a wider net in a way. Because if you think about it, the more you're uploading, the more YouTube's recommending your stuff, the more people are watching your content and coming in. And, I've heard YouTube rewards those who upload frequently and consistently. And I think this new upload schedule in part helped me reach 2,000 subscribers so fast, which is just awesome. Honestly, about a couple months ago, I didn't think I was going to hit 2,000 subscribers before Utapau came out. And I'm still, a few weeks away from Utapau, and I'm already at 2,100 subscribers, which is absolutely incredible. So to all you guys who have been subscribing, who've been supporting, commenting, watching, liking, I really appreciate it. It means a lot. 2,000 subscribers is a big deal. It's really, for some reason, 2,000 hit me a lot harder than 1,000 did. I don't know why. I've started to formulate a little bit of an idea as to why, and that kind of brings me into the last thing I want to talk about from my first segment, Life of an A-Fool, and that is the dangers of comparison and what that can do to you and your channel. Because, early on when I started my YouTube channel, I had a very competitive mindset. We've got a very great community, very close-knit community, but I've always been a naturally very competitive person. So even without, vocally or physically, outwardly manifesting it, I had these inner competitions going on with fellow YouTubers, seeing whose videos are doing better, whose videos got more likes, who's getting more subscribers. And I think we all do this to a certain extent, but I definitely got very engrossed in doing that. And I don't think there's anything wrong with a little bit of healthy competition, to help push you and improve your videos, but it can become a danger when you start to compare your success to other people's success, because we're all at different points. We're all at different levels, technologically, financially, emotionally, mentally, talent wise. And so we're all going to grow and have vastly different experiences on YouTube. And so it's important not to rob yourself of the joys of a victory because someone else has already achieved that victory. And I almost wonder if that's what happened with me with 1,000 subscribers, because I hit it back in September and I was yet to be monetized. So I was very stressed and very focused on monetize. All my other friends were getting monetized. Everyone else had already gotten their watch hours and stuff. So I was like, okay, I got the 1,000 subscribers, time to move on to the next thing. And, I think that might have robbed me a little bit of the joy of wow, I hit 1,000 subscribers, because regardless of, what other people did, that's a big achievement. And I think 2,000 is the same. And I've changed a lot since then. I've really started to focus inward and focus on okay, how can I improve my YouTube journey? How can I improve my channel? How can I make it a better experience for you guys, as well as making a better experience for me and my wife? And I think as a result, I've really started to just envelop myself in the process and enjoy YouTubing again, and enjoy just, the success I've been having. Because no matter how big I get, there's always going to be someone out there who's growing faster than me, who's got, better quality videos, who's got, a funnier personality. And so if I start to focus more on my own personal successes, then those successes start to taste better and start to, motivate me more, because they're not tainted by the fact that someone else already got it or someone's better. So that's been something really cool to learn, and I feel like has really helped me. And I feel like this is something that can be very sustaining in your life. I feel like, jealousy and unnecessary competition can eat away at your energy and eat away at yourself, and which can cause, to burn out or to not put out as good of content. So if you feel like you're struggling with that, don't worry, you're not alone. Like, it happens to a lot of us, but just to remember, focus on your successes. 500 subscribers is a success no matter how long it took you to get there, no matter how many other people have already gotten there. 1,000, 2,000, 10,000, a million, you know what I mean? So I just, I would encourage you guys to kind of, if, this has happened to anybody else, I could be like one of the only people, but I just have realized how relieving and how gratifying it is to really just focus on my journey through YouTube and enjoying the journey and enjoying the little victories that I have and the big ones. The next segment is answering your guys' questions with coconut. I don't know. I still haven't come up with a good name for it. So if anyone has any good suggestions, let me know down below in the comments. The first question I'm going to start out with today is from Tony Harney. The first question I'm going to start out with today is from Tony Hardy 99, and he says, when you began collecting Lego, did you feel embarrassed about owning Lego? Are you more likely to talk about your hobby to strangers now? So this is an interesting question, a question I've definitely thought and struggled with for a long time. In the very beginning, when I started collecting, no, I wasn't really embarrassed because, I was 8 years old. So me and all my friends would play Lego and, get our minifigures and have battles and stuff. But as I grew older and more people fell away, I began to become more self-conscious of I'm playing with these little toys, like little plastic minifigures. Like, what am I doing? I need to go, practice basketball, go hang out with girls, go, I don't know, work out or something. And so definitely as I grew older, it became more of a secret hobby to me. As my other friends stopped collecting, I still had that burning passion, that burning desire for it, but I slowly began to closet it more and kind of hide it from people. It got to a point where I think no one really knew I collected Lego to the extent I did, even some of my closest friends. And then, I went into my dark age, fell away from Lego for a while and came back. And I think when I came back from Lego is when I fully realized why Lego is so important to me. Why does it mean so much to me? Because that was something I thought about for a long time. Like, why do I have this call to go back to those Legos? Like, they're children's toys in a way. Like, isn't there anything else I could be doing? But why do I want to do that so bad? And I realized it's the joy of creation. This is how I express myself. This is how I help inspire. This is how I bring good works into the world, is through Lego. And, I just get this sense of fulfillment when I'm building, and it's just awesome opportunity to problem solve. I am a huge fan of problem solving. That's one of my favorite forms of entertainment. So to be able to, create these puzzles for myself of how am I going to build this, how am I going to make this work, has just been so fulfilling to me, and just it's so relaxing and just so engaging. So all of that made me realize oh, this is why I love Lego so much. And then I love, the Star Wars galaxy. I love the vehicles. So it almost gave purpose to my Lego desire, because it was okay, I have this desire to build and to create, but create what? And then this whole Star Wars galaxy comes in and just meshes perfectly with the Lego. So now I have this, now I have this beautiful marriage between two great things that are important in my life that I'm able to enjoy both at the same time. I'm not as embarrassed now. I definitely do keep it to myself still. It's not something I broadcast, but it's something I definitely share with people. And so far I've had a mostly positive response. Adults tend to be less judgmental than children. And I think a lot of adults have that same sense of just the lost childhood, in a way of when you grow up and there's so many fun things that you don't get to do anymore. So I think a lot of adults see that in my collection and in my hobby and are oh, that's so cool. I would love to do something like that, or I love Legos. So I'm definitely not as shy about it as I used to be. Next question comes from my man, SW Bricks and Figs. He says, which year had the best Lego Star Wars sets? This one's easy for me. 2013, baby. That year was the golden year for Lego Star Wars. And I think a lot of people will agree with me. And the reason I say 2013 over 2008, which is another epic year, is because 2013, we got re-releases of a lot of sets that came out in 2008 that were improved upon, like the Republic Gunship, the Clone Trooper design, ATTE, and so on. There's probably some other stuff that I could compare if I really wanted to dig deep enough. But to me, 2013 was just the quintessential year for Lego Star Wars. You had just these amazing designs. Everything was looking good. Things hadn't begun to shrink yet. Lego was still putting out these giant, massive machines. And the price point was still relatively reasonable. I think the ATTE sold at retail for $70, which is awesome. I think I bought two in 2014. And I was just surprised, now I'm surprised with how cheap it was. Like back then I was like, yeah, I'll pick up an ATTE. It's a set I've always wanted. So 2013 for me. And that was like the last year that we got a lot of Attack of the Clones sets. Like I honestly can't think of any sets from Attack of the Clones specifically that have come out since then. So it was cool to see some prequel era sets that weren't strictly Clone Wars, if you know what I mean. Next question comes from Cheese on Top 17. He says, do you like the direction of Star Wars with the new TV shows and how it fits into Lego? I do. I think Disney so far, in my opinion, has done a much better job with their TV shows than their movies. I don't know fully why this is. I know part of it has to do with Dave Filoni. I'm a big fan of him, and I think he really knows how to capture the spirit of Star Wars. And he's been working on shows like the Clone Wars, probably going to be working on, I know he's working on the Bad Batch and then the Mandalorian. So I think they were able to capture a little bit of that old nostalgia in him with the TV shows. So I think they're going to fit in with Lego very well because they're going to bring back a lot of memories for us and a lot of cool experiences. And so I hope that they continue to do the TV show series thing and, how it'll fit into Lego. I hope we get more sets from the TV shows because we haven't got a ton of Mandalorian sets. I would like to see more. I'm hoping on more Bad Batch sets. As of right now, at the time that I'm recording this, I only know of one confirmed set, and that's the Bad Batch shuttle that's coming out this year. The next question comes from GM Productions. He says, another great episode. My question is, what would Lego need to improve, in your opinion, to make the Star Wars line even more popular and just better overall? What changes would you like to see moving forward? This is a tough question because, I'm very biased. As a Star Wars fan, we all tend to have our own bias, and we don't necessarily think of Lego as a business and like how they need to operate. Because, obviously if it was up to me, I'd be like Clone Wars sets, Episode 2 sets, prequel sets. But for me, I think what would really help Lego Star Wars improve is to diversify their sets. We keep getting TIE Fighters over and over. We keep getting Millennium Falcons. We keep getting X-Wings, which I understand why. It's an iconic set. It's very recognizable. Someone just walking by on the store who's a casual Star Wars fan is probably more likely to pick up an X-Wing than a Gungan battle pack. But I think Lego has kind of boxed themselves in a little bit with just like recreating the same sets over and over. And I wish they would branch out a little bit more like they used to. They used to create these sets that were like so unique, like the Sand Speeder, which isn't really a canon set, or the TIE Crawler, which in my opinion are still cool Lego Star Wars sets, even though they're not necessarily canon. So I'd like to see Lego start doing stuff like that again, like really branching out, really pushing the bounds of creativity and really looking for things that haven't been built yet and trying to create those in Lego Star Wars. Next question comes from Kevin Gormley. He says, my question is, if you were to fix or change something about Lego Star Wars, what would it be? That's a tough one. And kind of, I feel like, some of this answer might be reminiscent or similar to the previous question that I answered, but I would really like to see Lego go back to building bigger Lego sets. I understand why they're doing it. You've got the whole 18 plus line, and then you've got like the more play scale children's version. The reason I don't like this is because it really limits what kind of sets are going to be appealing to me, right? Because now really the only sets that are going to appeal to me are going to be the 18 plus line. And obviously they can't recreate everything they're building in the playscale version in the 18 plus line. So take, for example, the new TIE Fighter and X-Wing Starfighter that just came out. Those are clearly made for a younger audience. So I don't really have much of an interest in those. But now I know I'm not going to be seeing an X-Wing built to my kind of taste or kind of the more adult theme for a long time, because this one's going to be on the shelves for a while. So I don't like that separation there, because that means a lot less sets are going to be made that will appeal to me. So I would like to see them kind of go back to what they were doing with just kind of like bigger play scale stuff and UCS stuff. They can keep the 18 plus line. I'm fine with that. I just don't like how they're trying to kind of divide and separate here. That's just my opinion, interpretation. They might not even be doing that. I don't know. That's just kind of what I've seen. Last question comes from Trevor Follett. He says, how do you feel the Lego Star Wars theme has changed you and how you look at Lego compared to a castle or other themes? So I would say Star Wars is the reason I'm as into Lego as I would be, because I think castle is cool, but Lego has never put the amount of time and effort into castle as they have Star Wars. A lot of castle sets are very outdated, very childish, which I enjoyed as a kid, but don't really enjoy now. And so, Lego Star Wars gives me this opportunity to be more immersed in the building process and the buying process and getting more different kinds of sets. and just being more overall more immersed in this universe and world. So I think Lego Star Wars has had a big impact on my love of Lego. I would definitely be a Lego fan without it, but it's definitely made me more of a Lego fan because I feel like I can do more of what I want to do. I could definitely build cool castles and I could, Lego dragons and stuff like that. However, Lego Star Wars also, they put out really cool stuff that allows me to elevate my mocks, my videos, and all that stuff. Thank you guys all so much for the questions. Those were incredible. I really enjoyed answering them, and I really feel like they help make this podcast not just me rambling and droning, but we get different mindsets, different perspectives, and different questions. So I appreciate it. The theme for kind of my next podcast and like the next questions is going to be related to Lego YouTube. So like why all questions pertaining to myself and Lego YouTube. Like why is it important to me? Why do I do it? How have I been able to do what I do? Just, all questions related to me and Lego YouTube. That's probably going to be something I'd like to focus on a little bit in the next episode. The last segment of today's podcast is going to be YouTubing on a budget. And this time I'm going to be talking about probably the coolest thing I've talked about so far. And that is a video editing software called Davinci Resolve. So some of you guys may be familiar with Davinci Resolve. Some of you may not. It's basically a video editing platform. And it's free to use, and it's pretty similar to Premiere Pro. I've used both, and they definitely, if you know one, you can kind of figure out the other pretty easily. And the reason I recommend this, and I'm such a big fan of Davinci Resolve, is because of the professional videos it allows you to put out. When I first started editing on YouTube, I was using VSDC, free video editing software, basically your run-of-the-mill free editing service. And basically I got what I paid for, which was nothing. It was hard to use. I couldn't do a whole lot. There weren't a ton of features. And so stepping up from VSDC or whatever to Davinci Resolve improved my video game so much. My videos came out clearer. The edits were more concise. There was more options with like zooms and cuts and blurring and sizing. Like you just have so many more possibilities and things that you can do with your video that you wouldn't normally be able to do with like a basic one. There are some downsides to Davinci Resolve. It's a pretty powerful function. It's a pretty powerful platform, so you do need a pretty powerful computer to be able to run it. I'll put a link to the free download for it so you can check out the specs and stuff and figure out like if your computer can handle it or not. But if it can, I highly, highly recommend it because it gives you the same amount of quality something like Premiere Pro or Final Cut would, but it's free. It doesn't cost anything. And another downside is it's kind of complex. There's a lot to learn. But what I have found is if you find a YouTube tutorial video on what you want to learn or what you want to feel to do in Davinci Resolve, it's fairly simple to learn it. So it is complex but simple at the same time. So once you do get the hang of it, your efficiency will improve a lot. You'll be able to put out much higher quality videos much faster. So that wraps up this episode, guys. Thank you all so much for watching. I really enjoy doing these. I know they don't get the most views, but the people who have who do watch them and do comment seem to really enjoy them. And that means a lot to me because this is a very important video to me. This is me stepping back from Lego Star Wars and still keeping it in, the conversation, but kind of talking about like the behind the scenes. Cause I love deep conversations. I love to learn things. I love to challenge norms, think outside the box. And this is kind of my opportunity to do so with you guys. So to have your support in this really means a lot. If you guys have any questions or any comments, don't forget to let me know down below in the comments. And if you have a question for the question and answer segment next time, make sure to leave that down below. And if you like the video, don't forget to leave me a big thumbs up. And as always, if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing so you don't miss out on any future content. But until next time, happy building.